strong values and character, along with the power of athletics, nutrition, and activity. They were raised by parents who taught and coached in the high school system. Kyle and Drew experienced a childhood immersed in athletics of all kinds and took many opportunities to engage in leadership development.
These two brothers had the opportunity to play football together at various points. From high school here at WDHS, where then quarterback Kyle led the team to 5 consecutive years of championships, to their notable football career at Bishop's University. The duo have together lived to play. Drew loved music and played in the school's jazz band. Whether it be through football, volleyball, track and field, basketball, or the arts, activity would always be a part of living a healthy life.
Please help us welcome Drew and Kyle to the stage.
When people ask me where I'm from, I don't say Oakville, I don't say Burlington, I don't even say Hamilton. I tell them I'm from Waterdown. I'm proud to be a warrior. There you go. My brother and I went to the school, so did my sister. And my parents were a part of this school as well. They were out at pretty much every Friday night football game that we played here, announcing, setting up, organizing, being a part of this awesome school. And we're here to celebrate today, as you've heard. Celebrate this community, celebrate this school, and we're also here to celebrate a special moment with you guys. Not only are we here to celebrate the expansion, but we're also celebrating the launch of our Turn It Up campaign. A few months ago, Kyle and I quit our jobs to dedicate our lives to our new business, Heal for Life. Healthy, everyday, active living for life. And now we're touring the country, beginning in Waterdown, with the Turn It Up campaign, turning up the awareness on healthy living, being active, eating well, keeping a positive mind, and on the way we're raising money for testicular cancer and awareness for testicular cancer. There's somebody here who's special to this community and the school, and is very special to me, that I have the privilege of introducing today. My brother and I used to play football here, and we won 5 consecutive championships, and whether it was our doing or the other teams just sucked, we had the opportunity to win. We knew that we'd be playing at university together, Bishop's University, and we had an opportunity to play there. Kyle was a little bit better than I was, so he got to play more than I did. I can remember the first game that he played, I was up in the stands with my family, and it was in Sherbrooke, and Kyle earned the respect of a team of 25-year-old Frenchmen, and he was an 18-year-old boy coming from Waterdown, and he took this team, led him all the way down the field for the very first drive. And the only reason he was able to do that is because he prepared his mind and his body for that moment. I can also remember another home game at Bishop's. You can see a pattern here. Kyle played well more than I did. Where I was in the stands with my family watching. But this time, Kyle didn't finish the game. He got hit by a linebacker, knocked out unconscious on the field, taken away in an ambulance, brought to the hospital to undergo a series of tests. One of those tests is a CT scan, where they scan your brain. They found a cyst the size of a wallet, or for some of you grade 9s, the size of your fist, in his brain. And the doctor told me he couldn't play football again. And I knew at that moment that I would never step on the football field again with my brother. Another quick story I want to share before I bring Kyle up is when he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. I can remember being with my family, but this time we weren't in the stands. We were on the porch of a doctor's office. And my brother and my dad came out. And my dad had a white face, totally shocked. And my brother had tears streaming down his face. And he said to us, "I have cancer. The doctor just diagnosed me with testicular cancer." There's nothing I could do at that moment. I felt totally helpless. All I could control is the way I reacted and dealt with that situation. We all lived together as a family, we gave each other a hug, and that was the first step in our journey that brought us here today. And before I bring my brother up to share a few stories, I want to set the mood here. We're not here to cry, we're not here to make you feel bad, we're not here to make you feel pity. We're here to celebrate. And my brother's been through a lot that some people think he should have never gone through at such a young age. I disagree. Steve Jobs once said that remembering that he'd die is the single most tool to help him make the big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear, or embarrassment of failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you're going to die, remember that he was going to die is the best way he knew to avoid the trap of thinking that you have something to lose. At that point, you're already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Now, my brother's going to bring some energy to this gym, and the first story is set in a football locker room. And if you've ever been in a locker room, there's a whole lot of energy in there. And as you can feel it right now, you're going to have to give him some energy before he brings his team. Everybody get on your feet. He's a top boy. This guy's been through a lot. He's been knocked out. He's been cut up. He's beaten in his head. And he's going to start some stories with you. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother, Todd.
If nobody has ever experienced that in their whole life, I'm telling you, it feels really, really cool. Really, really cool. Thank you very much. I want to talk about positive things all day today. Most importantly, I want to talk about you and making sure you keep a positive mind about this world. I'm going to run you through a few stories kind of right from the day I left the school to bring you actually right to this moment now. The reason you started clapping here today is just the way the same way I coach up the football field. My guys know right away. Well, they know sometimes right away. You guys know what I'm talking about. So sometimes they're on that goal line and they're ready to run at the end of practice, and the one thing they know what to do is they clap their hands together. Why? Because if they come together as a team, forget about the punishment of running tonight. Why? Because that means they know that means so much to me, the fact that they're deciding to bond together, come together as one. That's why we always start our talk with a clapping, bring everybody together. Alright, here we go. Amazing football career, won every game here, walked in university. I chose your university, that wasn't a feat. They were actually the biggest losers in football of all the universities. Sorry, no Val. Can you hear me better now? Everybody's better now? Perfect. It's my first time holding a mic, I apologize. So my first football game. Terrible pressure on live TV, got knocked out, you name it, just like you talked about. I spent the whole year coming back. That very first year, even though I got knocked out, I was recognized as the best first-year player in all of university. Rookie of the year, high school football. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me, but thank you. I'm going to bring you to the game, Bernard, my very last game before I decided to quit. Just like your hands were going in there, I got the energy, the coach was talking, everybody was feeling it. The pressure was on, just like all of your eyes here today. I felt pressure from my peers, I felt pressure from my family, I felt pressure from my teammates. I had to perform. You get accolades like that, all eyes are on you. Alright, I felt pretty good. Kickoff happens. Lining up, just like the crowd, just like you did. Sitting there like this, ball goes over my head, boom, I go dive and get it. Two guys claps, either side of my head. Boom! My biggest fear came true. I'd been knocked out the first year, battled my way back, trained all summer long. Got the green light to play again. My career to go pro was still there. I saw it, still there. Once that ball went over my head and I fell down, done. Not only was it done, I had to do it in front of all of you just like this. I had to take a knee. Not only during that knee, I took a knee, I had my coach come over to me and my trainer and took my hand on my back, they threw a towel over my face, because I was bawling my eyes out. Why? Because I thought this was all I had. That's all I ever went to school for, all I ever knew. Got dated the girls because I was a quarterback. Man, I thought life was good. Now what? Huh? Just because you don't play football doesn't make you special? Just because you're in the arts makes you special? What made me? All I have to have is a football in my hand and a jersey on my chest. If that was it, then I'm done. Totally done. Put that towel over your head, continue those cries, and walk your butt off the field. No, that wasn't it for me. That pro career, I saw it, I wanted it so bad, I thought there has to be a new way. Has to be a new way. If one path got knocked down, another one just got readjusted. I'm going to go coach. We learned one thing in football, we had a 24-hour rule. No matter what in football, whether win or lose, 24 hours later, we move on. we celebrate, we feel bad for ourselves. Next day of practice on Monday, we're moving on. I went 2 full years coaching university. It was absolutely the best thing in my life. Absolute best thing in my life. I was going to the summer working just like you guys do, working a landscape job in Waterdown. Felt my testicle, something's not up. Something's up, I was working with my buddy, a landscape crew, and I felt it. I didn't want to say anything because, again, I was shy. Something happened in my life, and I didn't know how to react. I went through football, and I had to take control of the situation because instead of being tired and sick of those concussions and feeling that, I had to give it up. So now I'm in a position where I felt the testicle, and I didn't know what to do. I was fearful. Not like the football where I had to take an injury and take a knee because I was seeing the whiteouts and seeing the blacks. This one was totally different. It took me 2.5 weeks to eventually say something to my best friend. My now wife at the time was dating with me, dating at the time, and working at the same time with me. Chose not to say a word to her. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I told my friend, and 2 weeks later I'm in a biopsy with a doctor telling me that my testicle has to be removed. Life's all good. Perfect. Just when I went through the peak of the football, down from football, back up, back on top of coaching, now I'm back down again because I can't even go to university anymore. Why? Because I got to stay home and deal with this cancer. This sucks. I was pissed. After many talks and conversations with friends and family and the most important people that came close to me, I realized, you know what? After all those meetings, once that testicle gets removed, life's going to be back to normal again, just like it was with that football. Peak down, back up on top. Testicle is moved, I'm back on top again. May not have 2 balls, but I got 1 and it's damn proud. So after a long way to battle, the testicle is removed, and the doctors, everything's green light. I am so happy. I go back in, and I just see surveillance every month. I have to go back in for the rest of my life to get checked out. After the 3rd month of going great checkups, you know what? I felt like I was back on top again. I felt alive. I felt energetic. I took care of my body. I ate well. I prepared, ready to roll. I got my biopsy results of that testicle 2 weeks after it was out. After all these other conversations with football, taking the cancer, now I'm sitting here going, just give me some good news, please. Nah, not a chance. They came back and told me my cancer was not only rare, but aggressive and reoccurring. Dang. So, after 3 months, I got a phone call. Just a reminder of phone calls. Phone calls are one of the biggest things I hear in this entire world. It sounds stupid. The fact that the phone rang makes me fearful. So that testicle was moved. 2 weeks later, I get a call. That same phone rings. This time it's not from a familiar voice. It's from a new doctor. A doctor grabbed my file and said, you know what, pal, something's not right here. What do you mean something's not right? Well, you guys had this on lockdown. Well, no, it's not right. They've actually found 2 spots, one in front of your heart, one in front of your spine that's infected. Okay? What do I do? I felt like I've dealt with everything at this point. What do you do? Slap me in the face again? Not a chance. I felt like slapped enough. Sure, let's deal with it. No problem. Let me just describe to you what a meeting is like with these people. For people who haven't experienced this, I really want to share this with you. I met a guy on a phone call conversation for 2 minutes. He says, come meet me tomorrow in my office. No problem. So, walk into the office just like this. Open the door, sit down with my dad, he's sitting just over there. The guy looks at me and in about 2 minutes describes his surgery, and this surgery is going to look like this. Well, Kyle, there's only a few of us that do this in this country. I'm one of them. So you're very lucky. Pointing myself to path back right away. He said he was going to cut me from here to here. He was going to complete RPLND, a lymph node dissectomy. My lymph nodes by the side of my heart, in front of my spine were all infected, so they had to do a full RPLND. It was a 9.5-hour surgery. They cut me right from here all the way down around your belly button, right to your pelvic bone. They removed absolutely everything out. Just keep in mind, I'm going through a ton of emotions, sitting in the little room with my dad, and this guy's drawing this on a piece of paper. You sit on in the doctor's office, that little sheet, and he's got a Sharpie. Just to put it in context for you. Sitting down with my pops, and I get one of these like, oh man. He's writing down that he's going to cut me all the way down here, around my belly button, down to my pelvic bone, or in here. He's going to remove everything, all my intestines, you name it. Take care of my lymphatic system, sew me back up 9 hours later, and then throw me through a circuit of chemo, the exact same as Lance Armstrong. Wow. He looks at me and says, you have any questions? And at that point, it's kind of humorous to me too, in a situation that you can think that is like the most unhumorous, you want to be crying, but the crying is done. There's going to be obstacles that go along this way that I just eventually have to deal with. And I was really thankful that you actually take the time to ask me a question, but there ain't no questions here for you, my man. You get your job done and take care of me. I promise I'll take care of everything after that. 6 weeks later. 6 weeks later, the day arrives for the surgery. Man, oh man, was that fearful. Surgery happens, it's all good. It worked out. I'm still here today. It was 2 weeks after that surgery that I started to begin my chemo treatment. And for those of you who haven't done chemo before, it's an amazing experience. And people go, oh, that's crazy, I've lost somebody to chemo. Well, you know what, for those who have lost anybody that has dealt with troubles, I hear you, I feel for it. But I'm just going to talk on a positive note because that's why we're here today. And there is hope for anybody and everybody. That chemo experience to me was the best thing in my life. Just when I thought the world was on top of the world here, partying, living the life, hanging out with girls, winning football games for your university. And then what? It all shuts down and you realize that all of these other moments in your life scale mean about this much. So that comment she made to me earlier about being ugly or fat or it sits in my face or I'm too chubby, guess what, that person? It doesn't matter, man. It's like this big when you get these life events. This big. And remember that. So anytime someone decides to bully you, talk to you, push you around, and say that you're not significant enough, life scale. Where does that rank? And for me, that's about, you know, maybe this thing right here. Living is why I'm here. I'd like to share with you 3 stories during chemo. First one. Sorry, this sometimes gets a little emotional. First one is preparing the body. Like I talked about, I had 6 weeks before that surgery. My dad quit his job first semester of school. He quit. I guess he's allowed to take it off. For those of you who let him take it off, I apologize for saying that. He took 6 weeks off before my surgery to prepare with me. We worked out twice a week, or twice a day, for 6 days straight. My surgery was quite extensive. That 6 weeks of training and quality time that we got to spend together, I don't know if my dad knew I was going to live. There's a thought for a day. What if something went wrong? He sliced it the wrong way. Just to let you know, I've got 2 valves in my I forget what this thing is here, but it's rare. And he cuts one of those off, and 50% of your function is gone. So anything could have happened. So during that time, I always wondered if my dad was thinking, you know what, I'm going to prepare Kyle for this surgery because the 6 weeks after preparation is going to be really paid off when we prepped him. So number 1, thank you. We spent a lot of good time together. The second thing I want to talk about is relationships, family, and friends. In this world, we live in a much different world than a lot of, unfortunately, you guys grew up in. The moms and dads just aren't there. You may have 2 moms, you may have 2 dads, you may have 1 mom, or you may have 1 dad. Or you may not have mom and dad at all, you may be living with your aunt. And for those of you who are judging that, that's for you. That's for you to do. I accept any relationship, any family, and any friend that I had. It was the only thing that gave me strength in this time. And it wasn't that I needed to be friends with all of you. I knew 5 of you really well. And those 5 were always there when I needed them. So regardless of how many you think you got the most friends in the world, if you got 1 or 2 that you can hang on to, that's the most important part. I'm going to show you about a couple of my friends. I know I talk about family a lot. This next story is about my mom. Again, she's here. She's got nothing else to do except watch me today. We talked about coming from the YMCA. I trained there every day that I went through this chemo surgery. I needed something to hang on to. I needed something to work for. I knew that if I prepared my mind and body, I'd be ready for anything, no matter what somebody said to me. But there are going to be some physical changes that go on, let alone the scar, let alone the swelling, you name it. And especially during chemo, the mind plays crazy things on you. So one amazing moment I had with my mom, I remember we were sitting in the park driving back from the YMCA. I'd done swimming because I was trying to get my mobility back. I run my hands through my hair just like this, and bam, there it is. A whole fistful of hair. I've been worried about this moment my whole experience. I was like, oh, Mom, what is going to happen? What am I going to look like? Blah, 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 blah. So I did it. Just like that. I said, Mom, what are we going to do? She looks at me and said, oh, what do you want to do? I was like, hang on a second, I got an idea. Popped the rearview mirror down and started pitching picking patches out. I looked like the scariest thing you've ever seen. Absolute scariest thing you've ever seen. I knew I was going to a dinner party that night with my 3 best friends. Those guys hadn't seen me in 3 weeks since I've been gone through chemo. So no other better way to show up, and with your hair all picked out, half bald, no eyebrows, white as a ghost. Needless to say, when I opened up through the door, they had quite the laugh. And by the end of the night, after maybe a few too many drinks, they decided to pick their hair out themselves. And my very last story is a really, really important one. It actually rooted all the way from last night. I was going, oh man, how do I celebrate this amazing day with you guys? I can talk about this cancer story, I can talk about football, oh, great success, a great football player, oh, went through some adversity and cancer. To me, that's a nothing story. That's about this big. We're sitting here with Holocaust victims. You have a gut check. A real gut check as to what's real in this world and what's not. My last story. I'm going to tell you why this t-shirt's real special to me. I wore this t-shirt at the 50th anniversary of my grandparents' wedding. That was 2 weeks after my testicular surgery. They decided to take me out there to kind of relax. We all went to South Carolina as an entire family. My grandfather wore this actual t-shirt. After all those concussions and chemo, trust me, my brain has lost that t-shirt. But for me, I went to him and I said, Grandpa, can I wear that t-shirt? He says, why? I said, Grandpa, this reminds me of you and everything you stood for. Whether you're young, middle, old, it doesn't matter. We all have our life experiences, but my grandpa's a role model. So this was the exact t-shirt that he wore on his 50th anniversary. And it is the exact same t-shirt that I walked into chemo with my very last day. And for those of you who don't know what a chemo room looks like, just imagine something like this, and these chairs right here, everything all lined up nice. There's only one big difference. It's not like this crowd right here. Unfortunately, it's a bunch of 60 and 70-year-olds that look like they're on their way out. And damn, is that a bad environment to walk into every day when you want to get energy. Walking around with a bunch of sad faces hanging down, they don't have anything to live for at times. There was a few, but not all of them. So I thought my one mission I could do this whole time because I was sick and tired of getting stared at as this young guy. But what is this guy doing here? Stop thinking about me negative, start thinking about me positively. Why? Because I was lucky enough to deal with these things. I've been lucky enough to prepare my body, and I'm sure as hell lucky enough to put a smile on your face before I leave. This is what I wore. Because I knew that very last day I had my own personal victories won. But for any of you out there that may not have your victory won yet, there's a reason. And why? It just starts with something like this every day. So when you put your t-shirt on in the morning, I don't care what it is, whether it's Louis Vuitton or a rag at a Goodwill, it's you looking in the mirror that's going to evaluate that t-shirt. And it just so happens this one looks real cool. So that's what this t-shirt means to me, is not only walking out, it's coming out in front of you guys. This is my first ever speech, just so you guys know. First ever speech to anyone. I do football times all the time. And to finish up today, all I want to say is thank you. Why? Because in 50 years, I will look at all of you in the face and stand here yet again and say, what? I don't know. But I tell you, it's going to be a damn good story when I'm there. Have a good night.
Thank you, Junior Cox, that very motivational talk. We really couldn't tell it was your first speech. You probably could have skipped over that, but thank you very much. I'm sure you touched everyone in the audience today. So, Waterdown, can we give another warm thank you, please?
Man, that was something. That was really good.